One of my students recently told me that she doesn't know what to say or what to do when she meets someone for the first time. This video is for you if this is something you have difficulties with. It is very, very common, especially if you're an introvert, to not know what to say or what to do when you meet new people, whether it's new people on the street, whether it's new people at a party, or whether it's new people at work. It often happens that we are stunned, without words, feeling nervous, and so on. So these tips are going to help you if this is something you have challenges with. The first thing you want to keep in mind is that it's common. This is normal and this is natural. And this is a skill that is not innate. The skill of greeting people or welcoming people or meeting new people is a skill that is developed and that over time you become better at it. So that's the first thing to keep in mind, is that it's absolutely normal, which means that you're not the only one that feels that way. Have you ever thought that the other person also feels that way? Now, there might be a difference between you and the other person. And one of the primary differences is that perhaps they have more experience meeting new people than you do. But at one point in their life, they also felt very nervous and very uncomfortable meeting new people. So keep that in mind. It's absolutely normal. The second thing that's important to know is that learning to greet new people, to welcome new people, to say hi to new people is something that can be learned. I want you to think about this. When you were a little girl or a little boy, how often did your mom or your dad tell you something like this? Say hello to the man. Come on, don't be so shy. Say hello. Smile more. You see, because when we're little children, again, we don't know how to be with other people. We know how to be with our family and brothers and sisters because we see them all the time. But when we're little children and we meet new people, it isn't often natural, especially if you're an introvert. It's not natural to say, hello, nice to meet you. How are you doing? Right? Think about it. What were you like when you were a little child? Did you openly say hello to people? Some little children do that. Just take a look around you and you'll know. Some little children will say hello to everybody, but other people, some other children will shy away. And of course, their parents will say, oh, don't be so shy. Say hello to people. Or some other parents might just say he's a little timid. So you want to kind of think of what you were told when you were a little child. Were you told that you were timid? Were you told, don't be so shy? Were you told, say hello to the person? You know, none of that is wrong. None of that is right nor wrong. It simply is what you've been told. So I want you to be thinking about that. Now write it down. What were you told when you were meeting new people when you were a child? So write that down so that you could think about it. So if you were told as a child, don't be shy, say hello, perhaps it's time to unlearn those behaviors, those patterns, because perhaps, and this is just a perhaps because you know yourself more than I do, perhaps You've been told that time and time and time again. And then next thing you know, as you're a young adult, you think, I'm shy. I don't usually say hi to strangers. And so that habit that you've had since you were a young person is ingrained. But it doesn't mean you can't change it, right? And it starts with mindset. It really does start with mindset. So you really need to visualize yourself as a confident person who loves, or maybe enjoys, or maybe is open to, because you don't always love meeting new people, but is open to meeting new people. I'll give you an example, a personal example. I tended to be very shy when I was a child. And I know that that shyness did affect my early relationships. And as I got on in high school, I was still shy. I know I was shy. Mind you, with my friends, I was loud and fun, easy to get along with. But when it came to people that I didn't know what to say to them. So I needed to learn to be more comfortable with other people. I needed to learn to say hello to people that I didn't know. So I'm going to suggest that you start noticing, first of all, how you feel when you're meeting new people. And even if you can, notice if you can hear your dad's voice or you can hear your mom's voice. Sometimes that requires a little bit of time and a little bit of reflection, but can you hear them say, don't be so shy? And once you start noticing that, I do want you to take some time to close your eyes and to see yourself as a fairly confident person, as a person that can easily meet new people. That when you meet new people, you can at least say, hello, nice to meet you. And that's it. You want to start with that. So visualize yourself saying, hi, nice to meet you. So you want to visualize yourself doing that and saying that and feeling confident. Well, that's a tip to help you change the way that you at least initially interact with people. And the third tip that I'm going to say is that you start practicing using similar lines. For example, and I'm going to write a few of them down as well. For example, hi, nice to meet you. Hello, how are you? Really nice to meet you. Thank you. Or things like, how long have you been working here now? Especially if you're at work, right? How long have you been working here? How long have you been in this department? Things like that would be very, very helpful. So you want to learn and practice some phrases. Now, whether English is your first language or not, maybe English is not your first language, practicing certain phrases is what you need to do. You know, initially it might sound a little weird. It might feel a little weird because you are stepping out of your comfort zone. So it might not feel right at the beginning. You just need to continue to practice. I'm going to be giving you suggest different questions. So of course you need to apply them to the right environment. So there are certain phrases you might want to use with the clerk at the grocery store. And there are other ones that you might want to use with people that you meet at a party. And of course, there might be other phrases that you use when you meet people for the first time at work. And you can decide which ones are appropriate. So here we go. For example, a very common one is, hello, how are you? It's nice to meet you. How's your day going? That's a great one to ask someone at the grocery store, for example, the clerk, the cashier at the grocery store. Oftentimes, they don't expect that because they're so busy scanning your products. Something at a party, for example. So, hi, nice to meet you. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do simply means, what kind of work do you do? Where are you from? Or you might say, I notice an accent. I hear an accent. Where are you from? Another thing that you might say at a party, how do you find the weather lately? It's been really cold. Are you finding it really cold too? Or, you know, if you invited people to a gathering, or if you're having a meeting and you've organized a meeting and people are having to come to the meeting, did you have any trouble getting here? How was your trip? Or if you're meeting people at work, and it might not be for the first time, maybe you've already met them, but now you're meeting them at a different function or in another meeting. Maybe it's over lunch. You don't really know them a lot. You might say something like, how long have you been doing this job now? Or I heard you're in school. How do you manage to work and be in school? Right? So questions like that are called icebreakers. And oftentimes, when we meet somebody for the very, very first time, a couple of sentences like, hi, nice to meet you. How do you like the work environment here? Could be something you say. And as you get to know them, or as you see them in the lunchroom, you might want to say, so what did you do on the weekend? Or you might want to just say, you know, I really saw a great movie on the weekend. It's called Blazing Saddles. That's an old movie. Have you seen it before? So questions like that are going to be very, very useful when you meet somebody. And of course, some of these questions that I mentioned earlier are questions that are perfect when you meet somebody for the very first time. Practice that, and I can't wait to hear all about it. Write your comments below and tell me how those sentences feel for you and how over time you start feeling more comfortable using them. I'd love to hear more about that. See you in the next video.